Well, this is the day the Lord has made, and we're here to rejoice and be glad in it. I greet you in the name that's above every name. That's the name of Jesus, Yeshua, who is our Christ. I've come today in the name of the Most High, who has given us the opportunity to give you an opportunity to minister and to be ministered to, an opportunity to fellowship, an opportunity to glean and to be inspired. I want to welcome you to the Hope TV. It's incredible. We've been blessed by the Most High to do some amazing things through Hope TV. When the pandemic started, March 19th, uh, we had our first broadcast called Pastoring Through a Pandemic. And from that time up until this time, we now have 35 programs, 35 broadcasts that are part of the Hope TV family, and it is amazing. And I just thank God for the creativity and the ability to put some hard work into bringing you words of inspiration. I hope you've been inspired by Hope TV. And if you've not yet followed us on all things social media, I want you to do so now at the Hope TV. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Hope TV. We also have a YouTube channel and a Facebook page, the Hope TV. Please follow. You also can subscribe to the YouTube channel of the House of Hope Atlanta, and also Dr. E. Dewey Smith. That's a YouTube channel for both of us. You can subscribe to those channels. You can follow the church at the House of Hope Atlanta on Facebook and the official page of Pastor E. Dewey Smith on Facebook as well. I just want to thank you for your support. It's amazing. And if you're logging on today, please let me know the city, state, and country from which you're viewing. We take your viewership very seriously, and we want to bring you content that is unique and specific to your demographic. So please drop us a line right now. Let us know the city, the state, and country from which you're viewing. I also want to thank our team for doing an amazing job. They've been working very diligently, and I hope you can feel our love. I miss you so much, those persons who are part of our local community, the House of Hope Atlanta. We know we have a much broader community, but I want to speak this word to the members of the House of Hope right quickly. I miss you guys so much, and I hope you can feel the love we're trying to share with you, even through our providing of content for you. It's just our way of trying to minister, to stay connected, and to keep you inspired and keep you encouraged. I love you so much. And to our wider audience, those of you who support us for years, just thank you for your support. It means the world to me and to our ministry that you would think enough of us to support us with your viewership, with your kind comments, etc. So thank you, even with your gifts. And so if you're watching now and you are watching through a medium that will allow you to subscribe, to like, to share, or to make a comment, please do so now. And if you can send that link now and share that link with about 5 people that you know need some encouragement, please do so now. It'll mean the world to us. Listen, today we are probably, this is my favorite show, if I have to say so myself. This is probably my favorite show. It's called Morning Dew. I love this show. Early in the morning, we seek the face of God. And, you know, early in the morning, the psalmist says, our song rises to thee. And it's just a blessing to be able to gather and get some inspiration to start your day off with inspiration. And so I hope you've been blessed by Morning Dew. If you've been half as blessed as I've been, then you've been blessed because God gave me a message to bring, and gave me this concept Morning Dew through one of our members, a mother actually, who will watch our Sunday services and say, I want to get my morning dew. And that's where the concept came from, and we've extended that concept. And I just hope you've been blessed by it. And if you've been half as blessed as I have, you've been blessed because Morning Dew was designed to bring you hope and inspiration. But in actuality, it's brought me hope and inspiration. So I hope you've been encouraged, and I hope you've been inspired to give God the glory and just to be encouraged. Today, you know, so much is going on in our world that's difficult, that's tough. And so today I'm going to be looking at the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 20 is the passage I'm going to look for today. And it really is a great passage because it kind of describes the feelings that many of us have. Jeremiah was a prophet of the Lord who was chosen by the Lord. And one of the most powerful passages in the scripture was given to Jeremiah when God speaks to Jeremiah in the midst of his call and says, Jeremiah, listen, before you were formed in the belly of your mother, I knew you. Now I ordained you and sanctified you to be a prophet to the nations. Jeremiah had a prenatal ordination. And there's a lot that's spoken about the full knowledge of God, about the purposes and sanctification of God. God says, I knew you in the spirit form before your parents came together. And I just allowed your parents to come together to create a body so I can put your spirit in. And I put your spirit in the body and sent you to earth to carry out the purposes of God. because I knew you in eternity before you were ever created. And I had already had a purpose for your life. And I'm going to send you during a time of upheaval, governmental upheaval, a time of captivity, a time of bondage. And I'm going to send you, Jeremiah, to make some prophetic declarations to unjust governments. I'm going to send you to try to get my people to be reconnected back to God. Jeremiah, I'm sending you down there to be a prophet and to let people know that impending danger was on the horizon. And so, Jeremiah, you're going to go down there with a purpose. It's not going to be all rosy and all glorious. Some of the things that you're going to pronounce are going to be difficult. And Jeremiah, I know that you're going to be topsy-turvy in your emotions. I know that you're going to be one who laments. Sometimes the prophets and the prophecies that you receive are going to have you just fluctuating emotionally. But throughout all that, your insecurities, your feelings of inadequacy, whatever you have, Jeremiah, none of those things can thwart the purposes of God. Because even though sometimes you have an attitude, you're still anointed. That even though sometimes you may feel bitter, I want you to know that you're going to be blessed. And Jeremiah, I'm sending you there with a purpose. And it's a good word for many of us that even in these crazy times in which we live, God knew us and God sent us here with a purpose. And God will never send us here. And as long as we have life, there's a purpose for us here to fulfill. So I want to get into this word because here in Jeremiah chapter 20, Jeremiah, who's also called the weeping prophet. I did some study on the prophets when I was in seminary, and you discover that many of the prophets went through things that had them emotional all over the place. Jeremiah would technically be, if you do a psychoanalysis on Jeremiah, he would be categorized as somebody who's bipolar, because sometimes the things that God would show the prophets would cause so much anxiety and so much difficulty in their spirits and in their souls. It was difficult for them. And like many of us who can see things or who have a purpose and a burden for life, sometimes life can be extremely, extremely difficult. And I want to let you know that even here on today, that when life seems difficult, when life seems problematic, that God still has a word for us. And here it is in Jeremiah chapter 20. Jeremiah is going through a difficult time because he has a word that's been given from God. And Jeremiah really talks about his feelings. And Jeremiah is at the verge of fallibility. He says, Lord, you pushed me into this, and God, I let you do it. You too much for me. He's expressing how he feels. And I'm going to come back to that in a moment, but I just want to give you the context. Jeremiah was so disheveled by what he saw and disheveled by the assignment. He was so wounded and hurt by the treatment of his people and how he was even being treated himself. And when I look at what's happening in our times now in government, what just happened with the killing of George Floyd there in Minnesota, same place where Philando Castile got killed, and you see how white supremacy and neo-Nazism is rising to the forefront again, and how unjust leaders are making decisions that would endanger our people, economy over humanity, profits over people. It can make you wonder, God, what have you got us into? God, I want to quit. God, is my work in vain? But somehow, some way, Jeremiah says, you know what? But I was able to get, he says in the 10th verse, he says, I said I was not going to speak anymore. No more God messages from me. He said, but what happened to me is I got a fire in my belly. That's the next part of that verse. I want the next part of the verse. He said, that was a fire in my belly. That's verse number 10 and 11. He says, when I got that fire in my belly, that fire in my belly is the thing that helped me to continue. That's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about fire in my belly, fire in the belly, because I think it's so important that we get that. Because if we look at the frailty and the foolishness and the fakeness and the finitude and the fallibility and our foes, it can make you fatigued. But there's something that God wants to do. That even in times like this, it's so easy as a black man to be discouraged by what we see. It's so easy to be, as an African American, to be discouraged by my purpose and to wonder, is it an exercise for futility? Does it make sense for me to do what I'm doing? Is it really making a difference? But somehow, some way, in the midst of it all, God put a fire in your belly. I want to talk about that today because I believe even in times we got to reach within. There's something within us. That's something within us that God is going to bring out of us today. And that's something within us, and we need that fire in our bellies at this particular time, because only that fire is going to help us to make it during these times of foolishness and evil. And Jeremiah says, you watch his life. He wrote an entire book called Lamentations. I mean, he has a whole book called Lamentations. And I love Jeremiah because Jeremiah would always be honest about his feelings. If there was anybody who had no problems telling God how he felt, it was Jeremiah. Jeremiah had a relationship with God, and Jeremiah was real in his relationship with God. I think sometimes psychologically, one of our problems is we tell people to be strong, hang in there and be strong, but it's more important emotionally to be real than it is to be strong, because being strong can sometimes lead you to being broken. Because when you're trying to be strong, when you really need to sit down and chill and be healed, sometimes being strong will lead you to deceptive practices, deceptive thoughts, and even unhealthy practices. And so sometimes it's better to be real with ourselves than trying to be strong for others. And I love Jeremiah because Jeremiah does not try to be strong. He does not try to be pretentious. Jeremiah is in tune with his feelings. He's in tune inwardly, and because he's in tune inwardly, he can go upwardly to God with his true and authentic feelings. Jeremiah didn't have a problem being his authentic self to God. And I think that's what we need to do in this day and time, to be honest with God about what we are. Stop trying to just be strong for people and be real with yourself, and then inevitably real with God. And Jeremiah here says, in my life, there are times I wanted to quit. In my life, I wondered, is my purpose even purposeful? Is my ministry even meaningful? And yet, somehow or some way, brothers and sisters, he's able to look beyond the impending danger of governmental assassination and antagonism. He's able to look beyond his own oscillating and vacillating emotions and say, in the midst of all of what I'm going through emotionally with myself, with the call and the struggle of God, feeling like God has abandoned me, thinking about what's happening for my foes and my enemies on the outside, but somehow, some way, I'm able to look within, and I was able to see there's a fire in my belly. And let me tell you something. This word encouraged me today, because if I look at what's around me, if I look at what has happened, from Trayvon Martin to Mia Rice to Mike Brown to Sandra Bland to Philando Key, Philando Castile, you wonder when there's going to be another hashtag. Are we ever going to stop marching? When will protests be enough? When will state sponsored murder be outlawed? When will we ever get justice in America? You go back and forth, and these things can be so burdensome and so heavy emotionally, and sometimes it make you question yourself. But today I feel like Jeremiah. There's a fire in my belly. There's a fire in my belly today that I feel like going on. That I know what's happening. That even in the most difficult moments, God knew me. I want you to know, and God knew you. And no matter what you're facing, to think that COVID-19 would be enough. You think that would be enough to have to deal with as African Americans, when you see the disproportionate way in which COVID-19 has affected our communities and decimated our communities. Now we got to fight against COVID and continue to fight against law enforcement as well. I mean, my goodness, it'll make you go crazy. But I want to tell you, but there's a fire from heaven. That fire that's been lit from heaven is right now putting up some feet within your loins. Right now, while we're in this morning dew episode, this broadcast, I'm speaking that the fire is going to start coming from heaven, from within, to fuel your passions. The fire is going to come within to reinvigorate your purpose. The fire is going to come within to burn away the feelings of helplessness and lostness. The fire is going to come to burn the chains that want to keep you bound in a quasi state of contentment and satisfaction. The fire is going to come to those who become at ease in Zion, to realize that just because we made a few civil rights gains, everything we've gained is in jeopardy of being lost. Fire is going to come from heaven right now. And that fire is going to come from heaven. And when that fire comes from heaven to hit you in your belly, several things can happen. I had to ask the text a question here in Jeremiah 20. What happened when the fire came from heaven? Why was that fire in the belly of Jeremiah? And why do we need that fire in our belly? I want somebody to type in right now, there's a fire in my belly. I see right now that there's a fire coming in my belly. The fire in my belly. It's a burning in my bone. I'm worn out trying to get hold of it. There's a fire in my belly. His word is like fire shut up in my bones. I feel it. I feel it in my bones. I feel it. It's penetrated beyond the dermis and epidermis of my skin. It's in the sinews of my bones. I said there's a fire in my belly. The fire is adding calcium to my calcium. The fire is coming to give strength to my bones. And I came to tell you that I'm speaking from the Holy Ghost right now. I speak from the power of the Holy Ghost that when you feel disheveled, when you feel like quitting, that may the fire from heaven come and hit you in your anatomy. May the fire come from within, penetrate your very loins, go deep beyond the substratum of our gastrointestinal cavity and hit you in your heart. My God, may every artery of the heart, may every atom of your anatomy be filled with the fire from God that will help you to stand even in the most difficult of times. Somebody type right now, I need to fire my belly. I need to be reinvigorated. I need to be strengthened again. Hallelujah. I need God to give me something to help me to deal with the next half of this race. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon. The race is not given to the swift nor the battle to the strong, but the one who can endure, the one who has a fire in your belly, the one who can lay aside every weight and sin that does so easily beset us and run this race. That word race in Greek is the word agon in Hebrews 12:1 and 2. And that word agon is where we get the word agony from. It's an agonizing race. It's a grueling race. It's an excruciating race. This is not going to be difficult. This is not for the faint. It's not going to be easy. This is not for the faint at heart. My God, God don't need no coward soldiers, the old folk used to say. God needs somebody who still got some fire. And I came with a charcoal. I came with a lighter right now to allow God to homiletically light every charcoal in your spirit, in your soul, that's seemingly fluttering and on the verge of being extinguished. May God come today to give us fire. May every ministry get fire to continue to bless our people during COVID-19. May every pastor get the fire to not cave into the pressure, to go back to church too quickly when there are hot spot areas because they need offering. May God give them fire to believe that God still will take care of his church. May the fire come to remind you the words that echo and reverberate from Caesarea Philippi when Jesus said, upon this rock I'll build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. If hell can't prevail, neither can COVID-19. If hell can't prevail, neither can the Minnesota Police Department. Somebody declare right now, there's fire coming in my belly. A fire that's going to help me to sustain when my economy is low. A fire that's going to come. And I believe, I want to tell you right now, that the fire that comes from heaven, it comes for a couple of reasons. Let me get into the thing about getting some to be happy right here. Somebody type in fire in my belly. I need fire in my belly. God, reinvigorate the fire. And here's why we need the fire. And here's why we need the fire. And here is what happens when the fire's in our belly. When the fire comes, here it is, so we can cope, number one, when there's no hope. The fire helps us cope when there's no hope. Did you hear me? I said the fire helps us to cope when there's no hope. See, sometimes you can lose hope. Jeremiah here is on the verge of losing hope. We see he would vacillate often in these emotions. And when you go back to verse number 7 of Eugene Peterson's message rendering of this passage, you will see Jeremiah as he's on the verge of no hope. As a matter of fact, he's at a point of hopelessness that he says, God, here's my problem. You pushed me to this. Look at that verse number 7. He said, God, you pushed me to this, and I let you do it. I didn't ask for this. I was minding my own business, and you woke me up and told me I had a prenatal ordination. God, I would have preferred to do anything else other than be a prophet. But you told me, Jeremiah, before I formed you in the belly. You told me before my parents came together and the seed was planted in my mother's eggs released from the fallopian tube, and the seed of my father combined with the egg of the mother to form a zygote. The zygote became an embryo, and the embryo became a fetus and went through 3 trimesters. My God, and 9 months later, I came into the entrance of the world. But guess what? I didn't enter into the world. I entered into the world physically. But before I was in physical form, I was in spirit form with God. He gave me a prenatal ordination before I was formed in the belly. God, I didn't want to be this. I would have chosen to do anything else. But you pushed me into this. That's what he said in verse number 7. The same one who called me. Now you pushed me to this. And here's the sad irony. Right now I feel bad with myself for letting you do it. He says, here's the thing, God, you were too much for me. I can't handle this. God, find somebody else. I'm not equipped to handle it. God is too difficult. I should have never said yes. I should have never surrendered to the call. I should have allowed you to kill me in disobedience. Being killed in disobedience would have been better than the life of pain I've had to live. God, I felt so hopeless even in my assignment. I felt like it was too much. I felt like I couldn't handle it. I felt like I should have surrendered. My God, I felt like I should have allowed, I wish you'd just have taken me out of my misery. My God, you've given me so much pain in my life and the pain that has come with my purpose. You pushed me into this. You were too much. Is there anybody who's watching ever felt like God pushed you into it? Have you ever felt like you couldn't handle it? Have you ever felt like life was too much? And some of you right now are watching and you think that this COVID-19 pandemic is too much for you. You think you can't handle what's being viewed on television. Here's what I can tell you. You can handle it. You can handle it. And when you can't handle it, he can handle it for you. There's no testing given unto man where he's not already given you a way of escape. And he'll give you strength to endure it. Sometimes we say, I can't bear it. Sometimes we say, I can't take it. Guess what? He knows how much you can handle. And my God, and when you feel like he won't put no more than you can bear, my God, what happens right now is when you can't bear it, he'll get along up underneath you and he'll bear it with you. Somebody type, I can handle this. My God, I can handle it. Here's why I know you can handle it, because he called you. If he didn't call you, if he wouldn't have called you, the calling on your life is proof that you can handle. God only calls who can handle it. God qualifies you first, and then he backs up and he calls you. My God, the calling was not based on what God didn't know. My God, God always qualifies first and then backs up the call. My God. And if he initiated you, that's because he's already validated you. So the validation comes before the initiation. Stop looking for man to validate you. Be strengthened on the inside, or get rid of the insecurities. Who told you you couldn't do it? The fact that you've been initiated tells you you've already been validated. Somebody type that in. My God. I see you typing in already. My God. The fact that I've been initiated proves I've already been validated. God validates first, and then God initiates second. God will never start you if God didn't know the flexibility of your character and the dexterity of your thoughts. You can handle this. And so the fire in your belly, I hope you feel that fire rising now. The fire is coming now because the fire allows you to cope when there's no hope. Hallelujah. My God, somebody type right there. Type right there. God validates, then God initiates. So why are you looking for man to validation? My God, you only need human validation when you go to park your car, in the valet. Validation is for cars. Human validation is for cars, not people. You get all the validation you need from God. The same God who called you, the same God who's qualified you, the same God who's equipped you. And if he has initiated you, he's already validated you. My God, look within and let that fire give you validation. Stop being so insecure. Stop feeling like you got something to prove to people. You don't have to prove something to God and prove something to yourself that you can do this. My God, God would not have initiated you without validating you. And so sometimes the fire in your belly has to come to help you to cope when there's no hope. But secondly, the fire in the belly, it comes so you can continue when there are haters. My God. I said that's point two. The fire in your belly, it comes so you can continue when there are haters. I don't know who that's for right there. I even hate using that word. It's so played out, but that's the best one I can use right now. The best way to explain what I feel. Not only does fire come to cope when there's no hope, but for you to continue when there are haters. My God, make fire come right now. And if you got some haters in your life that's trying to destroy you, may the fire, my God, get an overdose of ontological, pneumatological lighter fluid right now. Till it rise in the presence of your haters. Look what he says in that 7th verse of Jeremiah chapter 20. He says, God, you pushed me into this, and I let you do it. You were too much for me. Now, that's when he talked about the cope, and I feel like I didn't have the hope. But notice when he talks about the haters. He said, and now I'm a public joke. My God. Now I'm a public joke. I'm a public joke. They all poke fun at me. Y'all see that? They all poke fun at me. Every time I open my mouth, my God, I'm shouting murder or rape, and all I get from my God warnings are insults and contempt. He says, here's what happened. He says, all the people around me, my God, they want to see me fall. My Lord, everybody who's around me, the people I'm preaching to, when every time I come around, they expect me to fail. I wish I had somebody who could understand what Jeremiah feels, because some others of you have felt that. You've been in a situation in your life where it seems people want you to fail, when people make fun at you, when people think that you're not qualified. And if you're not careful, you can take on their expectation and start living your life for them. Now, it's okay to evaluate yourself. It's okay to look within, to ask yourself some critical questions. But when you start listening to the external noises, my God, when you start letting what they say outweigh what God says, here's a problem that Jeremiah has right now. He's listening to what they say. He says, all I'm getting for my God warnings are insults and contempt. See, here's why it's important. You got to be careful that you don't allow what they are saying to override what God has said. See, the first thing God said to Jeremiah in Jeremiah 1 and 5, Jeremiah, before you were formed in the belly of your mother, I knew you. I ordained you. I sanctified you to be a prophet to the nation. You're going to build up. You're going to tear down. You're going to plant. I hasten my word to perform it. I said, this is what I told you before you got started. I told you who you were. I told you were sanctified. I told you what your posture was going to be. But here's a problem. In verse number 20, now you're saying more about what they are saying versus focusing on what I said. So let me put this fire in your belly to let you know, my God, that you're not what your foes say. You're not what your enemies say. It's about what's inside of you, my brother. Isaiah came, he's going to have a purpose. He can't worry about his purpose. Ezekiel is going to come along. He's going to have a purpose. He can't worry about his haters. But Jeremiah, because of your personality, my God, Jeremiah, because of your vacillating and oscillating emotions, you cannot let what the enemy will do to you stop you from realizing who you are. Do you understand that point? That you got to understand that what God has said is much more important than what your enemies are saying. So sometimes this fire in your belly, it comes so you can cope when there's no hope, but it also comes so you can continue when there are haters. But there's another thing here, Isaiah, there's fire in your belly. It has to come so you can commit when there are hindrances. So you can commit when there are hindrances. Every now and then, Jeremiah, you're going to run into some hindrances. You're going to run into some obstacles. My God, not just haters, not just a loss of hope, but you're going to have some hurdles and some hindrances. It is not wise for you to think, Jeremiah, that just because you're called, my God, that you won't have some challenges. My God, just not wise to think that just because you got an assignment that you won't have some antagonists. Just because you're focused does not mean you won't have any foes. My God, just because you have a purpose does not mean you won't run into some things and people that are pusillanimous. And the issue is you've got to be committed when the hindrances come. You got to believe beyond the hurdle. You got to believe beyond the hindrance. You cannot let what you're facing stop you from completing that assignment. And that fire in your belly, may it come right now to give you strength to override the hurdles. May that fire in your belly help you to push beyond where you are in the present and realize that God has hope for you. My God, brothers and sisters, I speak there's fire in my belly. I'm not going to quit. Let me bring into some MC Hammer theology. I'm too legit to quit. You got to be, my God, help me here, Holy Ghost. You got to be like Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem when they were trying to come up against the people of God and Nehemiah, trying to be a hindrance. And Nehemiah says, we're not going to leave the work to come down to where you are. We're doing a great work and we can't come down. And that's the kind of fire in your belly that you need, Jeremiah. That's the kind of fire in your belly that when the Sanballats and Tobiahs and the Geshems are trying to get you off your center and knock you off your plan, be committed. I'm not coming down because there's a fire in my belly. Define your belly is to help you to cope when there's no hope. It helps you to continue when there are haters. It helps you to commit when there are hindrances. But that's one more thing. There's one more reason why you need this fire in your belly. Not only to cope when there's no hope, not only to continue when there are haters and commit when there are hindrances, but to confess, number 4, that there's help from heaven. My God, hallelujah. My God, yes, Lord, is going to help you to confess that there's some help from heaven. Do you hear me? Ah, God, I said helps you. My God, to find your ability. It's going to help you to cope when there's no hope. It's going to help you to continue when there are haters. It's going to help you to commit when there are hindrances. But then that find your belly is going to help you to confess there's help that's coming from heaven. My God, I said there's help that's coming from heaven. Look what he said in that verse again. He said, verse number 7, God, you pushed me into this, and I let you. You pushed me in this, and I let you. You were too much for me. Now I'm a public joke. They all poke fun at me. Every time I open my mouth, I'm shouting murder or rape, and all I get from my God warnings are insults and contempts. But if I say forget it, if I say I'm quitting, the hindrance is too much. No more God messages from me. If I say I'm not going to say anything else in your name, something else happens. Here's what happens. Keep going. He said, if I say forget it, if I say no more God messages from me. That next verse, the next part says, he says, guess what? The words are like fire in my belly, are burning in my bones. I'm worn out trying to get hold in it. I'm worn out trying to hold it in. I can't hold it in. I can't do it any longer. Then I hear the whispering behind my back. That goes old danger everywhere. Shut him up. Report him. Old friends, watch. My God, hoping I fall flat on my face. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Folks want you to fall flat on your face. One misstep and we'll have it. We'll get rid of him for good. That's what they're thinking. That's what hell is saying. Hell wants to get rid of you for good. Your haters want to get rid of you for good. But notice the next part of that verse, in verse number 11. My God, this is where it made me get happy. I don't want to get happy on. I don't want to run here. I don't want to run here on this Thursday morning, but I feel like running because he says, but then when my haters say we're gonna get rid of him, when my haters say it's all over, well, if the government is against me, I got something else to tell you. I got some help from heaven. But God, I need somebody to type in right there. But God, listen. If you don't remember nothing else I say today, I want you to remember these 2 words. But God. God is a fierce warrior. He's at my side. Do you hear me? God is my fierce, and those who are after me will be sent sprawling. You don't hear me here. I came to tell you, but God. When you feel discouraged, but God, because there's help coming from heaven. When you feel like you can't make it through COVID-19, but God. When your bills are up to here and your money's down to here, but God. When you're on your last breath, but God. When you don't have the emotional energy, but God. When you want to throw up your hands in a classic gesture of despair, but God. Does anybody have a but God testimony? My God, I thank God for but. Yes, I thank God for that word but. That's a consecrated conjunction. But God, but the conjunction, but my God, it's a consecrated conjunction. But my God, negation of the former, hope for the latter. But elimination of what was, opening of what will be. Do you hear me? But, yes, Lord, reduction of what was said, increase of what will be. Are you hearing me here? But, etymological extinguishment. But, no hermeneutic hyping here. But, God's going to shift it in your life. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. I was sinking deep in sin, far from the peaceful shore, very deeply stained within, sinking to rise no more. But the master of the sea heard my despairing cry, and from the waters he lifted me. Now safe am I. Does anybody understand? There's a but God in your life. Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainted not, neither is he weary? There's no searching of his understanding. He gives power to the faint, and them that have no might, he increases their strength. For even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And weeping may endure for the night, but joy is coming in the morning. I came to tell you that when you feel like giving up, the fire from heaven is going to come and give you some help. And to lift your eyes into the hills from whence comes your help, because all your help comes from God. Somebody type in right there, but God. I would have lost my mind, but God. I would have taken my life, but God. I would have lost everything, but God. My family would have failed, but God. I never would have finished school, but God. I would have lost my job, but God. My business would have sank, but God. Does anybody have a but God testimony? And I came to tell you, may the fire from heaven give you a but God fortitude, that you can take it, that you can make it in the worst times of your life. The fire in your belly comes so you can cope when there's no hope. May the fire in your belly comes so you can continue when there are haters. May the fire in your belly give you the ability to commit when there are hindrances. But may the fire come and be in your belly to help you to confess that there's help coming from heaven. My God, I'm lifting my eyes to the hills from which comes my help, because my help is coming from God. And I speak that while you're watching this morning, thank you for your comments. I see your comments. My God, I see your comments. My God, I see your comments. My God, but I want you to know the fire is coming. And may the fire from heaven, may the fire from heaven, may the fire from heaven give you strength to endure. May the fire from heaven help you to cope when there's no hope. May the fire help you in your belly to continue the haters. May the fire in your belly may it help you to commit when there are hindrances. And may the fire in your belly may help you confess that there's help coming from heaven. I know it's rough. I know it's tough. It's been a rough week for black people and for black men and for black mothers and black fathers. But I came to tell you, the fire is going to burn the fallibility, infinitude, and foolishness. Help is coming from outside. Lift your eyes. Your help does not come from the hills. It comes from beyond the hills. Because there's a God who's beyond the hills. You've been watching Morning Dew. Always remember this. If you'll be good to God, God will be good to you. Keep the fire in your belly.
What's up, House of Hope? It's the Flavor King, guys, and welcome back to another edition of Cooking with Flavor KL. Today, man, I'm on location, and we got our Father's Day special going. We're going to have a surf and turf. Man, we talking about these thick tomahawk steaks, some fried shrimp, and calamari. Man, y'all ready to cook? Let's go. Hey, guys, welcome back to Cooking with Flavor KL. Like I said, guys, today, we're going to be taking this thing outside. We grilling. So, all right, now, cowboy ribeye. The mammoth. This is about a 3-pound ribeye, about 2 inches thick. Look at the marbling in there. Oh my God, it's gonna be a great piece of meat. Hey, look, so I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna show you how to season this thing. We about to get into it. I love ribeye. Got that old beautiful rib bone right there, and that piece of ribeye. Hit it up with the all-purpose seasoning. I added some garlic powder to the salt and pepper, so that's what we're gonna hit this with. We can be very liberal on this with that, because this piece of meat can stand all of that. Okay, it's a thick piece of meat, and press that seasoning down in there, and the meat will absorb that. Okay, we're gonna get it on the fat cap. We want it all around this meat. Okay. Gonna be so flavorful. That fat on the meat is just gonna be all that. Yeah, we're gonna let this sit out for a minute. We're gonna go get those charcoals on. All right, guys, we're bringing it outside. We got the grill flaming up right now. Right now we're gonna be cooking indirect heat steak. Right now I got my wood chips soaking. We're gonna put those on this outside piece so we can just have that smoke coming through the barrel and cooking that meat nice and slow. We're gonna be low and slow on it. All right, guys, look, we out here, and I got that tomahawk. We got it nicely seasoned. The season is sticking to it. I'm gonna put it on the hot side of the grill. We're gonna put it in here for 5 minutes. We're gonna sear it for another 2.5 minutes. And then I'm gonna bring it to the indirect heat side. And over here I have my butter, thyme, some garlic, some rosemary salt that I made up. That's some sea salt, rosemary, and garlic all blended up together. And this is gonna melt, and we're gonna put that steak over this, and the dripping's gonna come down in there, and this is what we're gonna baste the tomahawk with. I'm looking for a medium well. So we're gonna look at an internal temperature on that meat at probably around 165 or something, but definitely be able to touch it and feel it. All right, so I flipped it over. That was 2.5 minutes on that side. We're gonna get it 2.5 minutes on the other side, and I'm gonna move it over to the indirect heat side. All right, guys, I got my wood chips soaking. I'm gonna put those on the direct side. I soak them in water so we can still get that good smoke, and then they don't burn down as fast. So we're gonna hit that up like that. That smoke is gonna come from this side into the opening, and it's gonna smoke the meat on the other side. All right, guys, we're coming back out to the grill about 1.5 hours later. So we're gonna lift it up. We're gonna see what we got. I've been basting it, but this is what we're looking at right now. We got the ribeye back there, looking delicious. We got these. A bit more grill on it. We gave it the smoke. We're gonna try to get the internal temperature in there turned up a little bit, and we're gonna move it back to the indirect heat side. That tomahawk ribeye. Woo! See y'all later. All right, guys, look, I cooked my first ribeye, my tomahawk ribeye. So I'm finna go ahead. I had it on there for about 5 hours. It's been resting for about 30 minutes. So we're finna cut it and see what it looked like on the inside. That look nice and juicy right there. That looks delicious. And the whole thing about it, man, you gotta have a good knife too. You gotta have a good knife. You see how that knife going through that like What? Oh my God, that's delicious. I'm ready to try that right now. This one, call him a name. Nice. Oh, this some good. Oh, good Lord. Okay. Gonna blow my taste buds out. That's good right there. That's real good. Got a little smoke ring around it. Good flavor. And that's what's up right there. What we're gonna do, we have some colossal shrimp that's in the sink thawing out. But right now what I've done is gotten my batter mixtures together. And what this is 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, some corn, 3/4 cups of cornmeal, and a teaspoon of paprika, kosher salt, some Creole's, Tony's ketchup seasoning, some chili powder, black pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. That's what's already pre-mixed in the bowl. My helper here, Empress, she's mixing the egg whites. So what we have is 1 egg and a cup of milk. So what we're gonna do is double batter these shrimp. We're gonna get it in the dry mixture, into the wet mixture, and back into the dry mix. Once we finish with that, once I get those shrimp thawed out, we'll get back with you. Okay guys, these are my shrimp right here. They've already been pre-cut and deveined. So basically, to take the shell off, you just hold around the tail, keep that end piece of the shell on, and then take off the rest of the shell. Like I say, the track is already out of there, nice and clean. This is gonna be your little handle. This is how you hold that shrimp when you're dipping it in the batter and when you're eating it. So yeah, that's what you want to. In case you missed it, I'll do it again. Like I said, the shrimp are already peeled and deveined. And basically you want to hold the back part of the shell and the tail, and then just peel off the rest of the shell. And once we come back, these shrimp will be ready to go into the little pan and ready for cooking. Guys, we're back. These shrimp have been peeled and deveined. We have our dry mixture and our wet mixture. So what we're gonna do, take 1 shrimp, put it in our dry mix, transfer it to the wet mix, and we're gonna make sure we get that double coat on there, and we'll be ready for frying. I just turned my grease on, so it's on low back there on the medium heat. Okay, so what we do, want to get all the shrimp tossed up. I'll just do 4 for video, but look, you get the message. So we'll mix that up with our hands. Make sure you get the proper coating on there. You want it extra crispy. You want a real crunch on there when you're biting into that shrimp. All right? Once you got it all coated, you want to shake off all the excess flour, because you don't want that in your egg mixture getting pasty. So, you knock all that excess flour off your shrimp. Once you got that done, you want to transfer it over to your wet mix. And you just want to make sure that egg and milk mixture covers the shrimp on both sides, get it well incorporated. And then, that's kind of what you're looking for right there. And we'll go back into our dry mix, shaking off all the excess wet mix. And then you just mix it back up. Mix it back up, make sure it's coated. And then go your double coat. All right, guys. So we're just about finished up that double coat. Yeah, that looks just fine right there. This is what you're looking for. You're gonna have a nice crunchy exterior on that shrimp. Yeah, that's restaurant quality right there. I'm telling you, they're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. So like I said, just for video time, we're gonna try to do about 5 of those, and I'll do the rest of those later once we finish. But there we go. That's what we're looking for. That's your prepared shrimp getting ready for the grease. I probably have about 5 more minutes on the grease, and then we'll be back. You'll see them going in. I think our grease is ready, and we're gonna just touch the shrimp on the oil. You see the bubbles, and you just want to lay it in there. That's how you stop the splash. Make sure the shrimp touch the water. Lay it in. I'm gonna probably only put 3 in this pot because I don't want to overcrowd them, and I want them to be real crispy. So you let them get in there and they cook, and they're gonna cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. You want that shrimp to make a C. You want to make sure those shrimp come into a C. If they close all the way up, that means they've cooked too long. So about 3 minutes cook time, and they'll come out golden brown. I have my little wire rack. This is where I put them once they're dry, so they can, once they cook. As you can see, that's cooking up nice and crispy. Oh my God, they look delicious. Like I told you, man, restaurant quality stuff over here. We winners on this side, man. That's all we do. So yeah, that's cooking up. And they coming up real short. Yeah, you definitely don't want to crowd your shrimp. You want them to get that maximum crunch and all of that. You want them crunchy when you bite into them. You want to hear that crunch, have that bite. You got the seasoning in there. Oh man, these are awesome. And you know they're going to be ready because they start to float to the top. And there they are. That's our first batch right there.
How do we know when we're listening to someone who's an idiot juxtaposed to someone who has actually done the stuff they're teaching?
You definitely have a lot of people out there who are talking and talking and talking. So you can double check their work. And if you're seeing that they are saying like the sky is blue, all these other things are saying the sky is red, all right, you might need to start to follow somebody else most likely. So you can Google what is a stock, what is a REIT, what are some good stocks to invest in, what's an index fund, so on and so on. I always think that's the best place to start.
Julia, are you ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
All right, guys, today we're going to be cooking calamari. Before we get into the video, guys, like, comment, and subscribe to Cooking with Flavor KL. Hey, guys, so today we're going to be cooking calamari. So how you clean this thing? You can't just get it on there and start cutting it and frying it. You got to clean out the inside of the tube. So basically what you do is stick your finger in there and you turn that calamari inside out, right? And then you want to get all of that slime and stuff off of that. See, that's what you need to do before you cook your calamari, okay? You need to clean that all off right there. And you can keep it on that same side or flip it back inside. I flip it back inside. And you basically do that the same way you started off with it. All right, here, so look, we got the baby octopus too. We're gonna chop up with these calamari. These not that big. Clean these, all you need to do is pull that long tentacle off right there. Just pull that, and that's good to go. You know, you wanna clean it up, and we'll put it in there with them. You can split this down the middle also. You can just kinda cut it, kinda open it up, but we're gonna leave it like that. Ever saw octopus? Baby octopus. Yeah, I told y'all, boy, 2021, Cooking with Flavor, we're going to be in there. We're going to be doing a whole lot of stuff. Okay, guys, so we cleaned our calamari, and what we want to do is just cut like about 1 inch thickness on that ring. Now, this is work a whole lot better if the calamari was slightly frozen, but it wasn't, so I'm going to work with it, make it do what it do. So we're gonna cut these rings, and then we're gonna soak them in buttermilk for about 30 minutes so that that flour dredge, that mixture of flour and cornstarch can stick to it. Then they're gonna be ready for the fryer. So yeah. And that buttermilk, when you put it in there, that's gonna help tenderize this a lot. So I'm cutting them kind of thin also. So that's gonna help with the chewiness on it. So just make it nice and crispy and ready for you to eat and enjoy. How many people like calamari? You like calamari? Comment. Make a comment in there and let me know how you feel about calamari and squid. So we about to cook it up today here in the kitchen. Okay, so we got the calamari and squid in the bowl. We're gonna put this up for about 30 minutes and then we'll be back. All right, so look, it's been 30 minutes. Our squid and calamari have been soaking in the buttermilk. I'm gonna add some Old Bay to the, we have 1 cup of flour and 1/2 cup of cornstarch. I'm gonna add some Old Bay, some black pepper. This is all about 1/3 teaspoon. Garlic powder and onion powder. All right, then we're gonna shake that all up and mix it all up in that dredge. Well, that was a little bit, that's about a 1/2 teaspoon right now. So we're gonna shake that up. This is gonna be the seasoning for our calamari. So probably since you're cooking at home, you wanna probably get that grease up to about 375. So when you put the calamari in there, that's gonna drop the temperature of the oil and that'll then get it around 350. All right guys, that's been about 30 seconds. So we're gonna take all the calamari and the squid out. I'm gonna put them in a little sifter right here and let all that buttermilk kind of drain off. And then what I'll do also is I cut up some peppers, some jalapenos and some other hot peppers. I'm gonna put those in the buttermilk. And I'm also gonna put those in the little dredge also. And we're gonna fry these up also. It's gonna give it a nice color in the calamari dish. And also give you a little bit of heat if you can stand some of that. Okay, so I'm gonna put my calamari in there and my squids. We'll do it in some small batches. Just to make sure we get good fry in the pan. So it's all in there. And you know, we're about to get it to the grease. All right guys, so you can see the dredge is stuck on there just like I wished it would. So we're gonna just shake it off and we'll take all that excess off. And we'll move over to the frying pan and put this on in there. So like I said, we got 2 batches we're gonna do this, and we're gonna knock off this excess flour. And we're gonna get it over here to the grease. Man, this stuff looks like it's gonna be outstanding. Guys, we're off to a great 2021, man. I mean, you better be in here, get your notepad, We dropping these little nuggets in here. I'm telling you, 2021, we're gonna be doing a whole lot of stuff. Okay, so there we go. We got the mixtures and stuff going in. These probably take about 3-4 minutes till they're nice and golden brown. That's what you want to hear right there. That's music to my ears. All right, guys, just like that. 3 minutes, and this stuff is done. Listen, you don't want to overcook it. You don't want it to get tough, all right? You want that thing to be soft and succulent, okay? There we go. That's our calamari right there, baby. That's the money shot. We got one more batch to do, and once you get it in there, you want to hit it with a little bit of salt. All right, guys, look, this calamari is out. Like I said, you only need to cook it for about 3 minutes. Look, this thing tastes so fresh, so got a crunch to it. It tastes really fresh. Not rubbery, cooked just right. Gotta try that. That's only one.
I want you to talk to us about what your experience is like as a millennial in the entertainment industry.
I would honestly say that my gender probably played more of a factor than my age did. She's a female, so she probably don't really know, or she probably can't really, and so then they would just write me off. But we got that together.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is.
Keep going with it. Leo! They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Went through the trenches to understanding of dancing with darkness, to realizing that I had to be broken to be a light. Outside of the titles, outside of the responsibilities, what I owe God is everything. And so I speak from a solid foundation of knowing that I'm not my past circumstances, I'm not my past situations, I'm not my trauma, but I am who He's called me to be.
Okay, guys, we're getting ready to put together this banana pudding cupcakes. Here are the ingredients. Got 2 cups of crushed vanilla wafers, banana cream, instant jello, French vanilla cake mix. Got 3 eggs, half a cup of water, half a cup of oil, 3 smashed bananas, 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour, 4 teaspoons of sugar. For our icing, we have 2 cups of milk, another pack of banana instant pudding, and some Cool Whip. We'll blend that together and make us a banana pudding topping. So yeah, we're about to get started. This is what we're looking like. These are the ingredients. So let's get into it. Let's bake. Okay, here we go. You want to put your box of French vanilla cake mix in your bowl. box of Jell-O. This is gonna be a 3.4 ounce serving. That whole thing in there. And you put your 1 tablespoon of self-rising flour and 4 teaspoons of sugar. Add your 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, 1/2 cup of water, and crack your 3 eggs. Crack your 3 eggs separately, just in case you don't get any shells or any bad eggs in your cake batter. Get your mixer. And mix it together. Okay, so this is kind of what your batter will look like. It's kind of thick, but don't worry. Once you add the bananas, the ripened bananas, and it starts to bake, that pie filling is going to add moisture to your cake. So don't worry. That's how you should be looking right now. Then you're going to add in 3 ripened bananas smashed. Okay, so now I also added the 2 cups of vanilla wafers along with the smashed bananas or banana pureed up with my fork, and then you just fold this in together. Fold this in, incorporate your wafers, your bananas, incorporate all that into your mix. Then we're gonna scoop those into our muffin tin that we've already got lined up. Then we're gonna bake these in the oven on 350 for about 13 to 15 minutes. Okay. Now these babies will go in the oven on 350 for about 13 to 15 minutes or until golden brown. You know, each oven cooks differently, so you know your oven, so you gauge it. Okay, guys, so right now we have our other pack of banana instant pudding. We got 2 cups of milk, cold, and 8 ounces of whipped cream. So what we'll do is we'll whip this cream. Now you can do this with a mixer. You can do it with a whisk or a fork or a spoon, however you can get it mixed up. But we're gonna whisk this for about 2 minutes. It'll get a little thick, and then we'll put it in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes. And then once it comes out of the refrigerator, I'm gonna fold in my Cool Whip, with this, and that'll be our icing for the cupcakes. And then I'll garnish it with some more vanilla wafers, either crushed or whole. I'm not sure yet. Now there's a lot of alternatives you can do. You can whip up some egg whites with sugar and egg whites, and you can put that on there, and then you can use a little torch or something like that to brown your meringue. You can use some type of cream cheese icing or buttercream icing, whatever you choose. But today, so we're just kind of looking at the home cooks. This is what we're gonna do. So my mixture is thickened a little. So we'll go ahead and put this in the refrigerator for about 25-30 minutes. When it comes out, we'll fold in our whipped cream. Cupcakes are cool, and we'll be back for the icing. Okay, guys, those babies are out of the oven. Here they are. Oh man, it smells like freaking banana bread in here right now. It smells good. So yeah, these came out perfectly. You know, you want to just check for doneness, you know, see if it springs back. Yeah, they good to go. So yeah, that's what they look like. So we'll take these out of the muffin tin, let them cool down, and then I'll be back to show you how to whip up that icing. Okay, so here's our banana pudding, the instant pudding that we just took out of the refrigerator. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna combine this with the Cool Whip, and then we're gonna put it in a piping bag and pipe it on our cupcakes. So I'm gonna add that to the filling with the Cool Whip. And then I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of sugar to this. And then we're gonna mix it, fold it in, and then we're gonna put it in the piping bag. And that's what you'll be looking like right there. So just keep folding it, folding it, folding it in. So that Cool Whip and that banana cream filling is gonna be all incorporated into the dish. Okay, so I got my piping bag, and we just pipe that Cool Whip and instant banana pudding on your cupcake. There you go. Sweet. Now listen, I gotta look at y'all when I say this. Can I be real with you? Can I be real? Listen, I'm an old school banana pudding. Now, I don't really think I like this old instant pudding and stuff like that, but I'm gonna try this cupcake out. So here's the cupcake, you know, got the banana flavoring on it. I mean, the Cool Whip and the instant banana pudding. I'm old school, man. I like baked banana pudding with the meringue on the top, a lot of cookies, a little bit of bananas. But let me taste this. That's pretty good. The icing is cold. The cake is warm, so you got that good contrast right there. It's moist. It's pretty good. I still don't think it's a cupcake, but it's good though. It's good. But if we're talking like banana pudding, I'm old school. Please bake my banana pudding. Don't give me no banana pudding with no instant pudding in it and no chessmen on that. I need vanilla wafers. I need wafers. That's what I need. Don't go messing with that recipe. Okay? Thank you. Ooh, I know those kitchens smelling lovely over there. Now, if you found value in these videos, hook a brother up. Man, look, like, share, and subscribe to Cooking with Flavor KL. And look, I don't want to be alone, so tune in next week. Same place, same time. Until then, just do what you do, but do it with flavor. Peace.
I'm Miss Kim, and today we are going to talk all about life cycles.